You may remember this dresser from another video, and I did a faux wood grain technique with this by first applying a coat of tapestry, which is just a light khaki brown color. It's a great base to build off of. Then I used the wood grain tools using toasted oak to get the wood grain pattern on it. What I wanted to do was show you how many options you truly have with these products. You can leave it as is, like I did with this dresser. Or what we're gonna do today is try these antiquing gels over top. This is the weathered wood antiquing gel. It is a gray tone. It has a built-in top coat. And yes, as we begin here, I do wanna mention, these are water-based products. The paint is water-based. The gel stains are oil-based. You can layer them. The important thing to remember when layering and doing the products together is give ample dry time so that you don't get any reactions or any sort of issues. If it dries in between, these can certainly be layered. They're very flexible in that way. So I'm starting here with the weathered wood, and I'm just dipping my brush in it. I'm gonna apply it so that it covers the whole surface. And I think for this example, I'm going to do a simple wipe back. Obviously, like all of these products, you can apply them based off of how you like it. You could do a nice thin coat and leave it. You can dry brush it, or you can apply it and wipe it back so that it just leaves a nice thin layer. And that is what I'm going to do, so we can still see that pretty faux grain beneath. Now we're using the whitewash. I think what I appreciate so much about these products is how many combinations you can use. With me doing the tapestry and the toasted oak base, you don't have to do that. For instance, a dark walnut look, maybe you put down Kisses as the main color, and you use espresso gel stain with the faux wood grain tool, and that will give more of a darker faux wood. So, the options are truly limitless. Sometimes that can be overwhelming. And if that's the case for you, if you're thinking, gosh, there's just too many combinations, like how do I know what I'm gonna love or how it's gonna look? I would give you a couple starting points. My first thought would be is join the all-in-one paint, the Heirloom Traditions paint group. There you'll see tons of examples and DIYs from other people, and you might just see the very combination that you like, that speaks to you. My second suggestion would be to grab some samples. You can get samples of just about all the products, and you can kind of do what I'm doing here and experiment and see what kind of tones you like before you actually lay it down on your project. Sometimes people get too excited. They hear this is an easy product to work with, which is true, but before even experimenting on the back of a cabinet or on something scrap, they get it on their cabinet and it doesn't look like what they expected, and then they're frustrated and they think it's the product's problem when really it's user error. And I've had plenty of my own user errors, so practicing is always a good idea, especially if you're not sure or you've never done it before. It's good to give it a whirl, especially if it's more than just your solid paint coverage. If you're starting with just that, it's a little bit easier to start on the back of a cabinet, and if it not go the way you want, you can kind of tweak it from there. When doing specialized finishes, it's always good to try it on something else first, just until you kind of get the hang of how the product operates. Where did my paint key go? Found it. All right, so we've got oil rubbed black is next. All All of these have a built-in top coat. People always ask that. You don't have to add anything extra. Sometimes though, you may find with the way your family abuses things or high traffic areas like a tabletop or floor, maybe you'll feel better if you get more of a top coat on top. You can always order that. AllinOnePaint.com is really your one-stop shop. You can get just about everything there, and you don't have to hunt down and look for other products, and you know that they're going to cooperate together. I do like ordering within the same brand just because you can trust that they're gonna cooperate. All right. The last one is Vintage Brown, which I can feel it's gonna need a mix. If you open up your paint can or your antiquing gel or your gel stains and you see a liquid kind of pooling to the top, it's just your top coat separating. It doesn't mean your product has gone bad. Just gotta give it a good stir. Just like the gel stains, these antiquing gels are so versatile. Of course, we're putting them over layered stain and paint, but you can use them, I use them like stains almost on some situations. Like if I have a piece I needed to strip back, like a desktop, and sometimes these colors are a little bit more muted and mid-tone than putting an actual wood stain on. And sometimes I just like the options of different looks. So, and you can use it over paint just to kind of antique it and get in the grooves, kind of shadow those details. You can really use them just to kind of influence the overall color, just like we're doing here. Okay, I'll wipe this, and then I'm going to pull the paint off, or the tape off, so that you can see the differences in how these products manipulate the overall tone of what we already had down, which was the toasted oak with a wood grain tool over top of tapestry. Okay, I'll lift this up so you can see it. You should be able to see it where it's at anyways, but. Okay, so what you've got here is the weathered wood, the vintage brown, the whitewash, and the oil rubbed black. They all look so different, but it's just subtle variances that can help marry your other wood finishes together in your space, whether it's your floors or your cabinets or your furniture, whatever it might be. Sometimes that antiquing gel just is the last touch to kind of helping things get in the family.